My daughter was hosting my retirement celebration when my wife leaned closer and quietly said, "Don't drink anything else. We need to leave right now." At first, I thought she was joking until I looked at her face. She wasn't joking. And what she was about to reveal would shatter everything I believed about my own child. My name is Daniel Park, and 3 months ago, I turned 65. After 42 years of teaching mathematics at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia, I had finally reached retirement. My daughter, Olivia, and her husband, Nathan, had insisted on organizing a grand party at their stunning home in West Vancouver. They invited colleagues, former students, neighbors, relatives, and friends, well over 100 guests. I should have felt like the happiest man alive that night. The celebration was flawless, almost too flawless. Olivia had planned every tiny detail, my favorite dishes, a slideshow highlighting my career, even a string quartet performing softly in the corner. She delivered a heartfelt speech about how much I meant to her, how I had sacrificed so much to give her the finest education and the best opportunities. Tears filled her eyes as she spoke. My wife, Eleanor, stayed by my side all evening, smiling politely and chatting with guests, but something felt off. She barely touched her wine and kept watching Olivia and Nathan with an unusual intense focus. When I quietly asked what was wrong, she squeezed my hand and whispered, "Not here." Around 9 o'clock, Eleanor excused herself to use the washroom. She was gone for nearly 15 minutes. When she returned, her face had completely drained of color. She leaned close to my ear. "Don't drink anything else," she whispered. "Don't eat anything either. We are leaving in exactly 5 minutes. Act completely normal." "Ellie, what are you talking about?" I murmured. "Trust me, Daniel. 5 minutes. I'll make an excuse." My wife of 38 years had never lied to me, not once. If she said we needed to leave, then we were leaving. She stood up and calmly announced that I wasn't feeling well, probably just exhausted from all the excitement. Olivia rushed over with concern, and Nathan immediately offered to call a doctor. Eleanor waved it off with a polite smile that never reached her eyes. "He just needs some rest," she said firmly. "We'll head home now. Thank you both for such a beautiful evening." The moment we got into the car, I turned toward her. "What on earth is going on?" Eleanor's hands trembled on the steering wheel. I went upstairs to use the bathroom. The one on the main floor had a line. I passed by Nathan's office and noticed the door was slightly open. His laptop was on the desk, unlocked. I shouldn't have looked, Daniel. I know I shouldn't have, but something made me glance at the screen. She pulled into a grocery store parking lot and shut off the engine. By then, tears were streaming down her face. I saw an email from Olivia to Nathan. The subject line said, "Timeline adjustment." I didn't understand at first, so I took photos. Her fingers shook as she unlocked her phone. "I'm so sorry, Daniel. I am so sorry." The email was dated 4 days earlier. "Nathan, Dad's kidney function is declining faster than expected. Dr. Carter says maybe 2 years left, possibly 3, if he's lucky. We can't wait that long. The house in Point Grey needs to close by spring or we lose the deposit. Increase the dosage. We need this finished by February at the latest. Once he's gone, we tell everyone it was kidney failure. Natural causes. No one will question it." I read it 3 times. The words refused to make sense. They simply couldn't. "There's more," Eleanor whispered. She scrolled further. I took pictures of everything I could before I heard footsteps. The next email was from Nathan to someone named Dr. Andrew Hammond. Patient showing expected symptoms: increased fatigue, occasional nausea, elevated creatinine levels consistent with chronic kidney disease progression. Continue current supplement regimen. Monthly blood work to monitor. No concerns from family physician. The world seemed to tilt beneath me. "What supplements?" I asked, my voice barely audible. Eleanor's voice cracked. "The ones Olivia has been bringing you every Sunday for the past 6 months, Daniel. The ones she said would boost your energy." Every Sunday morning, Olivia would arrive with fresh coffee and what she called a vitamin pack, neatly arranged pills in a small container. She always appeared so caring, so attentive about my health. "Dad, you need to take better care of yourself," she would say gently. "These help with inflammation, kidney function, and energy. I researched everything." "We need to go to the hospital," Eleanor said urgently. "Right now." "No." My mind, trained by 4 decades of analytical thinking, finally began working again. If we go to the hospital immediately, we alert them. They'll destroy any evidence. We need proof. Real proof. Daniel, you could be dying. I am not dying tonight. I took her trembling hand. Ellie, listen. We do this intelligently. We document everything. We contact the police. We make sure they cannot escape this. We drove home in silence. Once inside, Eleanor prepared tea with unsteady hands while I sat at the kitchen table, trying to comprehend the unthinkable. My daughter was poisoning me. My Olivia, the little girl I once carried on my shoulders, the teenager I helped through calculus, the young woman I walked down the aisle just 3 years ago, the daughter for whom I had refinanced our home to support her medical studies at UBC, medical school. She had the knowledge, she had the access. She had even convinced me to see Dr. Hammond for a second opinion when I complained about fatigue. Dr. Hammond, who was apparently exchanging emails with Nathan about my treatment. How long? I asked quietly. What? Eleanor replied. How long have I been taking those supplements? 6 months. You started in June, right after your birthday. June. That was exactly when Olivia first started talking about the house in Point Grey, a heritage property, their dream home. It's $2.8 million, she had said. We're stretching ourselves thin, Dad, but it's an investment. Property values in that neighborhood only go up. I had offered to help with the down payment. She declined, saying they had everything under control, and they did have it under control. They were expecting to inherit my estate, the house Eleanor and I had spent 30 years paying off, my pension, my life insurance, my investments, everything I had built from a lifetime of teaching mathematics. All of it destined for Olivia, all of it worth far more than $2.8 million. We need those pills, I said suddenly, the ones from this week. Did you keep the container? Eleanor nodded and retrieved it from the bathroom. 6 capsules, different colors, arranged in a small plastic organizer. We take these to a private lab tomorrow morning, first thing. And what will you tell Olivia when she calls to check on you? Eleanor asked. Exactly what she expects, I replied. That I'm tired, that I don't feel well, that her wonderful party simply exhausted me. At 10:30 the phone rang. Olivia. Dad, how are you feeling? I forced my voice to sound weak. A bit run down, sweetheart. Your mother's making me rest. I'm so sorry the party was overwhelming. Nathan and I were worried. It was perfect, Olivia, truly perfect. Thank you, both of you. A short pause followed. Then she asked softly, Did you take your supplements today? I noticed you missed this morning. My blood turned ice cold. She was tracking it. Not yet. I'll take them before bed. Please do, Dad. They're really important for your kidney function. Dr. Hammond specifically created that regimen just for you. I will, I promise. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. I ended the call and looked at Eleanor. She asked if I'd taken them. She's monitoring it, Eleanor whispered. That night, neither of us slept. We lay awake in the darkness, holding hands, trying to understand how our lives had reached this point. Where had we gone wrong? Had we given her too much, or not enough? She wasn't always like this, Eleanor murmured softly. Was she? I replayed the years in my mind. Olivia had always been driven, intensely competitive. She wanted the top grades, the best university, the most prestigious residency. When she married Nathan, we had been genuinely happy for her. He was a commercial real estate developer, successful, ambitious, polished. They looked perfect together, almost too perfect. The house, I said suddenly. When did they first mention wanting that property? Last spring, around April, I think. And when did Nathan's company lose that major deal? Eleanor sat upright. May. The development project in Surrey. Investors pulled out. Everything started to align. Financial pressure, an expensive lifestyle, a house they couldn't truly afford, and parents with a comfortable estate. They planned this, I said quietly. They've been planning it for months. The next morning, I took the capsules to a private toxicology lab in Vancouver. I paid extra for expedited results. The technician, a young woman named Kavya, didn't ask many questions when I told her I needed discretion. How quickly can you analyze these? I asked. 48 hours for a full analysis. I'll pay double for 24. She studied me carefully. Mr. Park, if you suspect poisoning, you should contact the police. I will, as soon as I have concrete proof. She examined the pills closely. I'll have preliminary findings by tomorrow afternoon. That entire day, I conducted my own investigation. I accessed every email I could locate involving Olivia and Nathan. I reviewed our financial records. I documented each medical appointment Olivia had scheduled for me with Dr. Hammond. I wrote down every symptom I had experienced over the past 6 months: fatigue, occasional nausea, dizziness, muscle weakness, all disturbingly consistent with long-term poisoning. Meanwhile, Eleanor discreetly contacted a lawyer friend. Hypothetically, she asked, what kind of evidence would someone need to prove attempted murder? That evening, Olivia stopped by with another week's supply of supplements. You didn't take yesterday's, Dad, she said lightly. The container was still in your bathroom. I forgot, I replied, forcing a tired tone. I was exhausted after the party. She placed the new container into my hand. Please don't forget. Your health depends on it. I studied my daughter carefully, truly studied her. She was poised, successful, elegantly dressed. She smiled with what appeared to be genuine concern, yet her eyes held something colder, more calculating. How had I never noticed it before? I won't forget, I said calmly. After she left, I added those capsules to the growing evidence bag I had started. The next afternoon, Kavya called. Mr. Park, you need to sit down. My grip tightened on the phone. What did you find? These capsules contain a combination of substances that become extremely dangerous when taken together over time. Thallium sulfate, which causes kidney damage and neurological symptoms. Arsenic trioxide in microdoses. And digitalis, which affects heart function. Whoever designed this regimen knew exactly what they were doing. My voice felt distant even to myself. At these doses, how long would it take to kill someone? 6 to 9 months. It would likely appear as organ failure, natural causes, especially in someone your age with pre-existing kidney concerns. Can you document all of this officially? I already have. Mr. Park, you need to contact the police immediately. This is attempted murder. I thanked her and ended the call. Then I contacted Detective Laura Mitchell at the Vancouver Police Department. Eleanor's lawyer friend had recommended her specifically. Detective Mitchell, my name is Daniel Park, and I have evidence that my daughter and her husband are attempting to murder me for my inheritance. There was a brief pause. Mr. Park, that is a very serious allegation. I have emails. I have the poisoned capsules. I have toxicology reports. I have documentation of everything. Do not touch anything else. I'm sending officers to your location right now. 2 hours later, Detective Mitchell sat at my kitchen table reviewing the evidence. The photographed emails, the toxicology reports, my medical records, and the detailed timeline I had created. This is one of the most premeditated cases I've seen, she said finally. They were systematic, almost clinical. Olivia went to medical school, I replied. She understands pharmacology. She knows how to make it look natural. And this Dr. Hammond? I don't believe he knew. She likely presented it as legitimate treatment. She had his trust. Detective Mitchell nodded. We'll need to interview him, but first we need to catch them in the act. Are you willing to help us? What do you need me to do? Arrange one more meeting with your daughter. Wear a wire. Get her to talk about the timeline, the inheritance, anything that establishes intent. Can you do that? I looked at Eleanor. She was pale, but her expression was resolute. Do it, she said quietly. We finish this. That evening, I called Olivia. Sweetheart, can you come by tomorrow? I want to discuss updating my will. I need to make sure everything is properly arranged. Of course, Dad. Is everything all right? Just being practical. At my age, these things matter. She arrived the following afternoon with Nathan. I was wearing the wire Detective Mitchell had fitted that morning. Eleanor sat beside me on the sofa, her hand tightly clasped in mine. Thank you for coming, I said. I've been thinking a lot about the future, about my estate. Dad, you don't need to worry about that right now, Olivia replied, though her eyes shone with sharp interest. I'm 65, Olivia. I have kidney disease. Dr. Hammond says I should prepare for the worst. Nathan leaned forward. Daniel, you're going to be fine. The treatment is working. Is it? I asked quietly. Because I feel worse every week, more tired, more ill. That's just the disease progressing, Olivia said smoothly. But we're managing it. The supplements are helping. Are they? I looked directly at her. Because I had them tested, Olivia. The room fell completely silent. Her expression remained composed, but something flickered in her eyes. Tested? She said carefully. Why would you do that? Because my wife saw your email, I replied. The one about the timeline, about increasing the dosage. Nathan stood abruptly. I think we should go. Sit down, Detective Mitchell said as she stepped into the room with two uniformed officers. Nathan Sutton, Olivia Park Sutton, you are under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. What happened next erupted into chaos. Nathan tried to run and was tackled in the hallway. Olivia just sat there, staring at me with pure hatred. You were supposed to die, she said quietly. You were supposed to be gone months ago, but you're too stubborn, just like always. Why? I asked, my voice barely steady. Why, Olivia? Why? She let out a bitter laugh. Because I deserve that money more than you do. I'm your daughter. Everything you have should already be mine. But you just keep living, don't you? Clinging on, spending my inheritance on your quiet little retirement while Nathan and I struggle. You are trying to kill me. For a house. It's not just a house, Dad, she snapped. It's our life, our future, our status. You have no idea what it feels like to be so close to having everything and still not be able to reach it. You had everything, Eleanor said, her voice breaking. You had parents who loved you. You had education, opportunity, support. What more could you possibly want? More than what you ever gave me, Olivia shot back. More than a middle-class life in a boring home with boring parents who never understood ambition. The officers read her rights and led her away in handcuffs. Nathan was shouting about lawyers as they dragged him out. Olivia turned back once, her face twisted with contempt. I hope you die slowly, she said coldly. Those were the last words my daughter ever spoke to me. The trial lasted 8 months. Dr. Hammond testified that Olivia had manipulated him, using her medical training to make the treatment plan appear legitimate. The toxicology reports were undeniable. Eleanor's photographs of the emails were submitted as key evidence. Nathan tried to argue that he had been manipulated by Olivia and didn't know the supplements were poisonous, but the prosecution dismantled that defense, using his own emails to Dr. Hammond documenting my condition and progress. The jury deliberated for 6 hours, guilty on all counts. Olivia was sentenced to 23 years. Nathan received 20 years. Dr. Hammond lost his medical license but avoided prison due to his cooperation with investigators. I underwent intensive treatment to remove the toxins from my body. The specialists told me I was fortunate. Another month or two, and the damage would have been irreversible. Even so, my kidneys were permanently affected. I would require medical monitoring for the rest of my life. Eleanor and I eventually sold our house. There were too many memories, too much pain attached to those walls. We moved to a smaller home in North Vancouver, closer to the mountains. We needed a new beginning. People often ask me if I hate Olivia, or if I will ever forgive her. I don't have a simple answer. She is my daughter. I raised her. I loved her deeply. Part of me still does. But the daughter I loved no longer exists. Perhaps she never truly did. Perhaps I was too blind to see who she really was. What this nightmare taught me is that trust, even within a family, should never be blind. Love does not mean ignoring warning signs. It does not mean surrendering your judgment simply because someone shares your blood. I also learned the true meaning of partnership. If Eleanor had not been paying attention, if she had not trusted her instincts that night, I would not be alive today. We protect each other. We question together. We decide together. That is what saved my life. I also learned that greed is a poison far more dangerous than anything inside a pill bottle. It changes people. It turns children into strangers. It makes them see their own parents as obstacles instead of human beings. It transforms love into a transaction. Olivia taught me that lesson, just not in the way she intended. Today, I volunteer at a community center where I help seniors understand their legal rights and financial planning. I encourage them to stay cautious, to document everything, to trust, but always verify. I share my story, leaving out the most painful details, but making the message clear. Protect yourselves, even from those you love. Eleanor and I are rebuilding our lives. We travel now, something we always dreamed about but postponed while saving for Olivia's future. We are learning how to live again without the constant weight of betrayal hanging over us. Some days are harder than others. Some days I see a young woman who resembles Olivia, and my heart breaks all over again. Some days I wonder where we went wrong, what we could have done differently. But most days, I am simply grateful to be alive. Grateful for a wife who saved me. Grateful for a second chance. I survived to tell this story because maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe someone is ignoring warning signs they shouldn't ignore. Maybe someone is trusting blindly when they should be asking difficult questions. If that is you, please listen carefully. Love your family, but protect yourself. Trust your instincts. Stay alert. And if something ever feels wrong, do not wait until it is too late to act. I waited longer than I should have. I nearly lost my life because of it. Do not make the same mistake. This is my story, and it is a warning I hope you never need. But if you ever do, I hope you remember what happened to me. I hope you act faster than I did. I hope you survive to tell your own story. Because in the end, that is what we truly have. Our stories, our truth, our survival, and the wisdom to protect ourselves from those who might try to take it all away.